fans, and welcome to another episode of Hambini's TV show. And in today's episode we have something a little bit different. We have a review of some wheels by a autistic 5-year-old cunt. And that will be me. Those wheels are these ones fitted to my bike, which are these Winspace HyperX or Hyper, I'm not quite sure, to be honest. I don't really care. They are wheels made of carbon, fitted to this bike, which I bought in a charity shop and then proceeded to bling it up. So this isn't about the bike so much, this is about the wheels, but oh fuck. Oh, princess blanket's getting dirty. Fuck. Right, yes, so anyway, just to give you a little bit about the bike's now got Dura-Race all over it. There's a long story about how I got it, and it's got my trademark orange bottle holder, and the DIY shop, because of COVID, ran out of a black insulation tape, so Obi-Mark Marsdorf only had blue. So that's what's on it. But anyway, going back to the wheels. These are Winspace HyperX wheels. They are 50mm rim depth, tubeless compatible, and a load of other bollocks to go with it. The thing with this bike is actually faster than my Cervelo S5 under all criteria, and that is because air's coming in, hitting the bike frame, hitting the wheels first, and then going over the rest of it. The bike also has much narrower handlebars, and all of this is added to aerodynamic benefit. Okay, it's got my paraphernalia like my Garmin, which might be in a bit of a place where the purists don't think is very good, and I've got my back light, but fundamentally this is an aerodynamic bike. Once again, I digress. My reviews are shit, because we were supposed to be talking about the wheels. These wheels are filament wound carbon fibre, and to be honest, they are excellent wheels. The spokes are carbon spokes, and yeah, I mean that's the crux of it. Let me take you inside and I will explain the performance of the wheels. Guess what? I lied. Well, I'm only 5. The wheels themselves, I mean, have I don't know if you can see it, but they have a sort of see-through finish, so you can see all the way through. These wheels have had like 4,000 kilometers of use, and I haven't even used the brake pads that came with it. So I've used some non-carbon pads, and they've held up quite well. The tyres on it are Conti GP 4000. They've got tubes in them, but the wheels will take tubeless. And that's mainly because if you have a puncture on the side of the road, I don't want to be fucking around. I'd rather just have the ability to change a tube. So that's where we are with that. The hubs are actually of extremely good quality. The quality of the engineering inside is good, and they've lasted quite well. They haven't been on for very long, but you know, the only comment I'd probably make is they're a bit noisy, but that's only when you're not pedaling. So that's it. There's like a ratchety noise. Quick release levers, they just do the job. I haven't really had any issues with them. They just work, so can't really complain. So brakes are okay, hubs are okay, free hubs okay. The Shimano cassette went on without too much of an issue. I can't really say much more about the wheels other than they are wheels. The more important stuff are the technical bits about how well they perform. So now I will take you inside to explain that. It's time for PowerPoint, so let us start the PowerPoint. Let's hit start recording, and hopefully this will work. Oh fuck. Right, time to check the pen. The pen is working. Oh. Right, now most of the time I come on here and then slag something off, but this today is different. This presentation is called The Dog's Bollocks of Wheels, the Winspace
HyperX by Hambini, aged 5. If you're wondering how I have these youthful good looks, it's from frequent banging of the hairdresser. Right, let me I'm just digressing. Right, the key thing here is Winspace, as a Chinese company, have quite a lot of prejudices to overcome. And I mean, the key thing is when you go around the internet forums, made in China is a synonym for crap quality and shiteness. But it's not really like that. I mean, if people are given time and the finances to sort themselves out, generally they will produce decent gear. However, when you are buying your £3,000, €euros bicycle frame, and then the poor chap in China is getting 300 of whatever currency you want to make that frame, there is 2,700 notes there that are going somewhere, and they're usually going to line the pockets of somebody. Now, in the case of these wheels, so Winspace, a Chinese company, they haven't got the brand appeal that others have, like Zip or Envy or Mavic, although they've gone bust. So they have to almost start from scratch. Now, if you look back through history, Made in Japan, when I was a wee nipper, had the same sort of thought process. Made in Japan, your Honda's crap, da 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 da. Then by the early 90s, Honda, Toyota, Nissan, most reliable car you can get. And then they won every customer satisfaction award going, and then that's it. No one really looks back at that. And you can kind of see the same thing happening with Kia and Hyundai now. So the Hyundai i30N, if you haven't had a go in that car, then I suggest you go and do it. That is a step change improvement, a game changing improvement for the brand Hyundai, and you see a lot of them on the road. So if I look back 22 years, when Honda brought the Honda Civic Type R out in Europe, the first one, so not the import one, that was a step change for them, because they were used to making cars for old people, and all of a sudden they brought this hatchback out that has 197 horsepower and handles like nothing else, and they just changed the game. Now, in the case of these wheels, I mean, I've really shied away from doing product reviews because I can't relate to a lot of my audience, because I don't go racing. I don't go racing because I don't even like riding a fucking bicycle. I only do it to offset my eating and drinking habit. So, I mean, that's it. I'd rather save my money up and then buy Paw Patrol toys and shit like that. So, you need to realise that I'm not going to tell you that these wheels hold their speed well, because it's a bullshit statement, have really good compliance, because compliance is a load of fucking bullshit, and it almost sounds like an 80s hi-fi brochure. But anyway, so I'll give you my thoughts objectively, and that is literally my thoughts. My sample size is 1, so the sample size, 2, so the front and the back wheel. So if you were to go and buy these wheels and then all of a sudden you had a problem with them, don't fucking blame me, because the ones I got were fine and the ones you have got aren't fine. To be honest, the way these things are made, I can't see that being a problem, but I'll say that. And the final thing is, if it is shit, I will say so. So I'm not going to sit on the fence and then say something's good when it's not. I'll tell you if it's shit, I'll tell you if it's good, I'll tell you if something's in the middle, and I won't fucking piss around with any of that fucking horse shit. Right, these Winspace, I'm not quite sure of the name here because I'm dyslexic, so I think it's HyperX Lun wheels. I mean, if we go on the Winspace website, let me just give you a quick overview of the specs. Well, I think they're called HyperX. Anyway, 50mm rim depth, ceramic bearings, their words, not mine, aero optimised for a 25mm tyre, 1350 grams, carbon spokes, and they are, I believe, $1,100. Let's go back to Discard. Right, let me get the Winspace website. Right, this is the Winspace website, and these are the wheels. So you can see, you know, the full specification, all that stuff. So fill your boots, have a wank. There's all this other stuff, and all the nice like pictures and stuff. Oh, and you get a 2-year guarantee. That's what it says. 2 years from the date of purchase to the original owner, and then la la la. So a bit about Winspace. If I hit about us, so they've been in the business, and they've said for 12 years. So they're not by any means a you know, a small outfit. They're based in Xiamen. I don't know, Xiamen. Is it Xiamen? Xiamen in China. So that's where they're based. And these are their wheels. Right, let me go back to this presentation. Fuck. Okay, aerodynamic performance. So this is the famous chart. How the fuck do I turn this on? Oh, fucking hell. Ben. Right, this is, so to be honest, I've stopped using this chart now, because when this came out, I got a load of heat from some twats on Blowbitch saying, oh, your protocol's this, that and the other, and then I quite succinctly pointed out that everyone else's protocol, I don't even, if the protocol's fucking horseshit anyway, relies on wind being straight. So if this is Matey Boy on his bike, that is a crap bike. Wind comes like that. That is what everyone else is testing to. What actually happens is the wind more like that. Yeah, so it's not in straight lines, it's fucking around all over the place. And this was maybe 2-3 years ago, this was what was come up with. Now the world is a bit more educated and understands that fairly basic principle that wind does not hit you straight on, and it does not hit you in nice parallel streamlines. So moving towards Dmitriev number, but even that's a load of fucking horse shit, because I said, oh, we'll move towards Dmitriev number. All of you smart fuckers out there went and googled him and then said, he doesn't fucking exist. So I put a video out showing him on fucking Discovery Channel, and then you said he's got a fake name. Tossers. Right, they weren't pleasing some of these fucking cunts. Anyway, fucking putting that aside, right. These wheels are in the blue. So they are, I mean, it's difficult for me to describe this, but that's where they are. The next best 3 are over here. So the Borg 50C wheels, complete with hidden nipples, aero spokes, and all of this other stuff to make it go fast, is at 183, which is the same as the Bontrager wheels. But the original Borg wheels were a 185, so all that dicking around moved it by 3 watts. But again, this method of analysis, I don't believe, is a very good tool for giving you a difference between the wheels. But in any case, it is faster than all the others. It's faster than some 80mm wheels. And I mean, the NV 7.8, which is classed by many as a very fast wheel, it's faster than that at 30 kilometers per hour. Now, at 50 kilometers per hour, which is probably an unrealistic speed, it's still fast. I haven't put the chart up there because mainly because I couldn't be fucked. But yeah, it is still it's comfortably the fastest 50mm wheel that you can get. I haven't seen one that's faster, and I doubt you'll be able to get one that is faster than it. The way it's become fast is very clever use of tripping into a turbulent boundary layer and then keeping the flow attached. So it has very good Dimitriev number performance, which is, I mean, Winspace could have got lucky, or they could have actually put some thought into it. I don't know one way or the other, but anyway, the net well, it doesn't actually matter whether they got lucky or not. The point is, it's still the fastest. Right, so why is it fast? So this is the leading edge of the tyre, so the wind's coming from this way. What's happening is the air is tripping, so it is getting slightly disturbed by the wheel, by the tyre, and then it enters this point here, which is a stagnation point, and then immediately afterwards you get sort of what's the best way of describing this? It's the pressure changes very quickly over a very short period of time, but it's dependent on these angles. So this angle here, this isn't a cross section of the Winspace wheel, so I've just put this as a schematic because I drew it out on PowerPoint. That angle there and that angle there. Yeah, bear in mind I've taken the cut. If this is the wheel, I've cut it there. If you were to cut it here, you get a slightly different profile, and if you cut it there, you would also get a slightly different profile. So I've taken the cut there. It's just purely for illustration, so you can understand what's happening. So yeah, just take that into account. By that point here, okay, the boundary layer has gone to fully turbulent, and then well, I've just labelled the trip point there. So that's where it trips. If you had a normal untripped detachment point, the air would billow off here, like that. Okay, it would probably billow off a bit nearer here, but you know, it's a judgment call based on experience. Because it's in a tripped tripped turbulent boundary layer, it actually trips. It actually leaves here. Okay, so your net, and if you did the same on the other side, it would leave there. So this area here is turbulent, or is detached and just full of vortices and all sorts of shit. So you've gained basically half the width of the rim. So if you take that point there, okay, which is, so that point there, that is probably, what's that? 7 or 8 millimeters, something like that. So you've saved that in terms of drag. So if you multiply that by the height of the tyre, you can see where that was the height of the wheel and the tyre combination. You can see why that is an advantage. Now, if we go to the other side, which is the trailing side of the bike, now you've got to realise that you cannot gain back a loss in a bike because it's too short for you to gain. So if you lose the flow on your front wheel, the frame, no matter how good it is, cannot recover that loss. So if we go back to the hi-fi analogy, if you are using the cheapest and nastiest thing for your sound source, so you know, like a really nasty record player, and then you've got some really fancy speakers at the other end, those fancy speakers aren't going to get the benefit because the pickup point is shite. If you have some if you have a very good pickup point and some shite speakers at the other end, that's not as bad because you're just losing signal through the chain. And it's the same thing on a bike. If you fuck the airflow up at the front of the bike, you can't gain it back. There just isn't enough space. You would need about 6 or 7 Ds. So what's that? Probably about 1.5 meters for the airflow to regain itself. Obviously it depends on how fast you're going. Right, this is the trailing edge of the bike. So the air is now coming from this side. Okay. And then we get the same kind of thing here. So we've got a point there, and then we've got the same sort of point here, okay, as the previous slide. So what happens on this one is we have the trip point. It's about here. At that point, it is going from laminar-ish to tripped. And then the airflow is sticking. Now this is quite unusual because most of the time the airflow coming over the bike at that point is shite. But the wheel has done such a good job on the front side of the wheel that the airflow coming to there is fairly reasonable in most conditions. There's going to be conditions where it's not, this isn't going to work, but this works where other wheels don't. So you've got to gain whatever. So that's the trip point, and then the airflow comes over here. Okay. And stays attached. Now, if it wasn't in a turbulent boundary layer, you would get detachment there where the brake track is. So it would just literally billow off here. In the case of this bike, wheel, it's detaching here. So you've got a significant difference in the point at which it detaches. And once again, I've taken the cut here and here, and obviously if you take the cut here and here, depending on your wheel, you're going to get a different answer. Alright, but that's just to give you an overview, and I haven't done it in great technical detail because it's not my place to give you an education in fucking fluid dynamics. Right, but to be honest, it's quite impressive. I've not seen it to this level before. So the light bicycle wheels that are quite wide, I think they're 30mm, 28mm, 30mm. They do employ the similar kind of setup system, but this thing benefits from being narrower. So that's really the key to being fast, narrow. I mean, where else in the world is a wider object considered faster other than in the bicycle industry? The wanketeering department of all of those wheel companies have done a fine fucking job, because you go on weight weenies, which I'm now banned from for some fucking unknown reason, and the twat bag who's the administrator won't actually even answer my email and say why I've been banned. I didn't even say anything. Anyway, this is a bit of an aside, and to be honest, I haven't really lost anything. I mean, if you want to go fast, go narrow. That's it. Right, anyway. Aero performance breakdown. So, I alluded to this before. So, the air from the leading edge is much less disturbed compared to other wheels. So, that's why these wheels are fast. So, the air hitting the trailing edge has that benefit. So because you can only lose speed, or lose stiction, you're just going to gain separation. That's where these wheels are really quite impressive. I've just said that. And it behaves like a wheel with a much deeper section. And that is to do with the airflow control. Right, the ultimate pressure differential and booming is low. So crosswind stability. So if you were to take, so let's draw a bike. Let's say the wind's coming from that direction. Okay, I haven't drawn the man on the bike, but we'll pick a point here. Where will we pick a point? We'll pick a point just there. Actually, that's not a good point. We'll pick a point. I'm trying to think. Yeah, behind the bike. So we'll pick a point here. Okay, if you pick that point up and then drew a time graph. So we've got time on the bottom, and then delta P, which is pressure. But I've done the P. The triangle should be there, by the way. I just can't see it very well. Right, if you just take that in real life, what happens is, in certain conditions, you get the pressure coming along, and then it picks up, drops. Comes along, picks up, drops. Picks up, drops. That is a transient state, because what's happening is you're riding along and you're generating a pressure differential at a point which the system can no longer deal with. As the system can no longer deal with it, you get this downward stroke, which is it collapsing. Yeah, so it goes back towards the equilibrium, because air wants to always be at uniform pressure everywhere. So that collapsing, I mean, the way you notice this is if you're in a car and you open one window. If you open one window at a certain speed, you'll hear a booming noise. What's happening is air is coming into the cabin, the pressure is getting elevated, it keeps going up and up and up, then the pressure can no longer be maintained and it exits the cabin. That is the booming noise you get. One sort of easy way of sorting that is to open another window, and then you'll get constant airflow, so you don't get the rise in pressure, you just get uniform pressure. But that booming is what causes drag. It also causes crosswind instability. Now on these wheels, because it's handling the airflow quite well, in fact very well, you don't get that. So in crosswind stability, if you are in a constant crosswind, you just cant your bike over and you'll still be able to ride. What's more dangerous is if you are in a crosswind and then the wind suddenly stops, you'll find that one side of your wheel has a higher pressure than the other, and then you get the crosswind instability. So that's why that happens. Right, the hubs, the spokes, and the nipples performance. So these are carbon fibre spokes. They don't come with hidden nipples. Now, hidden nipples do make quite a big difference. So you could get a bit more speed out of these wheels if Winspace put hidden nipples in. From a maintenance perspective, hidden nipples are a pain because you can't just go and change one spoke. You've got to take your tyre off, inner tube off, and then go and adjust them with a screwdriver or whatever it is, Allen key. This is a 15mm axle setup. So the Winspace wheels are 15mm bearings. The centre section is 17mm, and they use 6902 bearing. Oh, I assume they're 6902, but this is the frequency trace from them, and I'll come to this on the next slide. Sorry, I need a drink. The 6902, the 02 indicates is 15mm bore, 6 is a deep groove ball, and 9 is the number 3 in the series. So it's a reasonable sized bearing. It's not like going to get lunched particularly quickly. I've picked one bearing, so the non-drive side rear bearing. Now the wheel speed, and this is, I'll just talk you through this graph. So this is normalized frequency. You could almost read that as RPM. So RPM is 2 pi radians over 60 seconds, but I've put it into hertz. To be honest, it doesn't really matter. If that said RPM, these things would still be the same. All that would happen is the values at the bottom would be different. So the fundamental train frequency is the speed the cage goes round in the bearing. The wheel speed is the speed of the wheel. So if you are, I don't know, going at 30 kilometers per hour, the wheel speed might be 200, 300 RPM. It doesn't really matter. But that is your input speed, because actually, you know, the speed you can control. All the others are derivatives from it. So if you put wheel speed in of whatever it is, the fundamental train frequency, which is the cage speed, is slightly lower than your input speed. The ball spin frequency is the next one along. The ball pass frequency on the outer race and the ball pass frequency on the inner race. Now I've done 2 plots here, so I've had these wheels in for 4,000 kilometers, and the left hand side is dB, which is the amplitude. You can have it in millimeters per second or meters per second squared, depending on what you want. If you want G readings, I mean that's a thing for another day. Okay, but what it's really saying is after 4,000 kilometers, the outer race on the ball bearing, so that the inside of it has got a pit in it. That's usually caused by a contaminant or something like that, or in this case even the ceramic ball that's gone in and damaged it. So it's clearly obvious there. Okay. The other thing is there's an inner race defect. Okay, so that is apparent as well. The input wheel speed vibration is also higher, which suggests, and this is the thing, the wheels have gone slightly out of balance, and that might be, well, you get that over time because the tyre doesn't wear evenly. So I've probably done something there to make them go even more out of balance than they were previously. But that's not really much of an issue because that's your input. Ball spin frequency, and this is what you'd expect, is pretty much where it was before. So it hasn't really changed, and you wouldn't expect that with ceramic bearings because they're so hard. The fundamental train frequency, again, there's not really much change there, but these two, so the inner race and the outer race, sorry, that's the inner race and this one's the outer race, there's a defect in both of them. And the other thing to note is the overall vibration of the system is much higher after 4,000 kilometers, which again you would expect. Yeah. Right, build quality. There are a few minor voids in the wheels. I think less than 2 millimeters and 6 counted in total. It's not really much of a muchness. It's not really even worth worrying about. The scan showed nothing. Now the wheels are not as stiff as my Zip 808s. Now I don't know what the regulations are for wheel stiffness. I don't even know if there's a guide. So all I did was weighted the Zip 808s, weighted the Winspace wheels, and then measured the deflection. So the Winspace ones are 15% more floppy. That's not entirely unexpected, given that they are an 80mm wheel and the Winspace ones are 50. So that's it. Radially, so in compression, it's about 5%. So again, I don't know if that's good or not. I honestly don't know. I mean, they ride fine, but that's I don't know. Right, what's good? The good is, I mean, there was no pinging under tension. One of the things you usually find is when you pump the tyres up the first time, you hear these horrible pings as everything is stress relieving itself. I haven't had any problems in 4,000 kilometres. The key thing to note there is, I mean, I just completely abuse the fuck out of everything. I don't wash it, I don't look after it, I just totally abuse it to hell. So my 4,000 kilometres is a hard 4,000 kilometres. The wheels have stayed true within reason. I didn't really, I haven't gone back to it, I haven't had any brake rub. Oh fuck. There's been no problems mounting the wheels or mounting the tyres onto the wheels. Very stiff, and then the braking performance I thought was quite good for a carbon wheel. The brake pads, you do get brake pads with the wheel rims. Excuse me. The bad. So I've just mentioned about the bearings. Probably will need a change at 6,000 to 7,000 kilometres, and that's a guess. I mean, they might just be like that after they've run in. I've not really had any experience with these bearings. I don't know what brand they are. And the rim tape is shite. That's really it. So I don't know what else I can say. That's it. That's an honest review of it. And then if you break a spoke, it might take a while because just the postal system and the logistics of it. Right. Overall, I mean, the narrow wheels and tyres are aerodynamically superior. 26 kilometers per hour is what I think is the cutoff between a 25mm tyre and a 23mm. So these wheels have had 23mm Continentals on them with tubes. And and the cut-off aerodynamically, if you measure by Dmitriev number, is around 26 kilometers per hour. So below that speed, you could get away with almost whatever you like, because you're just not going fast enough. Above 26 kilometers per hour, 23mm tyres, or narrow tyres, are faster. These wheels are really, good for everyday riding. So if I commute on them, then I can't really fault them. I was really being picky with the bad, but there we go. And this is a sign of things to come. So you've seen the manufacturing quality. I mean, these wheels are extremely well made. This is almost like a bit of a no-brainer, because you could buy a set of these, or you could buy a set of Zip 404s, maybe is the 454s, probably be the nearest one to it, or some other generic 50mm wheel. Performance-wise, these are just so much better. Unless you are a complete badge snob, you'd get the you would get the Zips, because you're a badge snob. But if you just want to go fast, you get these, and then that's it. I don't really know. There's just no contest. There is absolutely no contest. There's very few times something comes along which raises the bar. Now, this has come along and raised the bar in terms of, the build quality of the wheels are excellent. The aerodynamic performance is excellent. They've been thrashed to fuck and then still passed. The only thing that is probably slightly dubious or ropey is the bearings, and even then that's not proven. That's just after 4,000 kilometers they've got a vibration problem. So all I'm doing is I'm trying to predict the future. It's not based on something that's already happened. So I'm saying that I think in 6,000 or 7,000 kilometers, two of those bearings will need changing, but that's not a given. Chinese manufacturing is really it's gonna come to the fore. At the moment, it's based on price. Shortly, it will be based on performance, and if you're basing it on performance, these wheels win hands down. They're the fastest wheels by a long shot. Right, a sign of things to come. This is the cuntish shitbag scale of engineering fuckwittism. If you're not familiar with it, we have the lick, which is good, the shiz, which is not quite as good, not a shitbag, borderline shitbag, definite shitbag, cuntish shitbag, and a space saved for a speck of shite on the anus of humanity. Nandrolone. Now I've moved Nandrolone to borderline shitbag because I'm now on it. So we'll see if I get faster by taking my 2 nanospoons of Nandrolone. The Look KG386 is between not a shitbag and the shiz. It's not quite the lick yet, but there we go. Fucking your chicken. That is definitely the lick. Finger licking good. Did you get that? For fuck's sake. Right, cocaine. Look 695. My Zip 808. It's this shit. Absolute fucking shit. Right, Trudeau. We like Trudeau on here. Belinda. I am trying to get Belinda onto the TV show, so we will see how we get on. I won't show her the back catalogue, because then she'll never come on. Anyway. Sports scientists trying to do aero. Yes, stick to your fucking nutrition, boys and girls, seeing as we're in the world of equality and all that kind of stuff. Drag numbers from shit realised. Shumi, now, apparently, he is my hero. He would do anything to win, so I like him. And then finally, we have the Winspace Lun HyperX, and they are in the shiz / the lick category. I think they're fully justified with that rating. I think they've done a very, very good job, and it takes a lot for me to say that. Now, if I was just some random fucker, which I am, I would put my name on the side of them. I would honestly, confidently put my name on the side of those wheels, because I would be proud of those wheels. They're very, very well made, well engineered, both aerodynamically and in terms of mechanically what you get. So I don't know. I don't think they're. To be honest, if you went and put hidden nipples on those wheels, I don't think you would ever get anywhere near those wheels. That is the max that you could get. It would take something else, some other variable to change before you could get faster than that. So that's where they are. So that brings us to the end of this presentation. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, remember to whack the like button and hit the subscribe button if you aren't already subscribed. If you want more reviews that aren't full of horse shit and bollocks, then you know, just put some comments in the box. I don't really know how this is going to go down, and to be honest, do you think I care? I don't give a shit. So there you go. And as always, keep fucking your hairdressers.